UFC Fight Night Grasso Araujo full card predictions and confident picks from the bottom all the way to the top. My most confident picks as well, giving you my number one most confident pick of the card, almost like a 90-85% chance I think they're gonna win. Then to someone that I'm probably gonna have like 51-52%. I'll give all my predictions, all of my confident picks in today's video. But before we get into it, go down and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to get notified for when I post another video and for when I go live for an MMA Q&A. Comment your full card predictions down below in the comment section and put your number one most confident pick and put your number 11 least confident pick for UFC Fight Night Grasso Araujo. Thank you guys for watching this video. Let's get into the first one here in the welterweight division. Mike Jackson and Pete Rodriguez. In the welterweight division, both guys, not too good, but Pete Rodriguez is a little bit better. Not as tall, not as lengthy as Mike Jackson, but this is not one of the fights where it's going to matter. Yeah, Mike is, I guess, decent at range with the kickboxing, good leg kicks, good body kicks, jabbing a 1-2 on the outside. But come on, Pete Rodriguez is a killer. This dude's going to come forward, pressure the heck out of Mike Jackson, get his back to the cage, and he's just going to start to throw. He might not knock out Mike Jackson immediately in this fight, but he will get his back to the cage and just start ripping to the head of Mike Jackson. Left hook, right hook, overhand, and he might even go for a takedown. I'm not even joking. He's got a good trip takedown as well. So it's either he catches him as his back is to the cage with a big hook right on the chin, or he takes him down and just starts ground and pounding and finishes Mike Jackson. It's a fairly self-explanatory one. Pete Rodriguez to win this one by TKO in round one in this fight. CJ Vergara and Tatsuro Taira in the flyweight division. I'm going to go Tatsuro Taira to win. He is 22.5 years old in this flyweight division. He is taller. He is lengthier. He is younger. Similar experience even at his young age. I think Tatsuro Taira is going to go out there, land more volume on the feet than CJ Vergara, countering him as he is coming in. He's got very good movement, able to get out of the center line of CJ Vergara very, very well. Anytime CJ starts throwing those big hooks and things like that, looking for the flying knee and the left hook and the right hook, looking for that finish on Tatsuro Taira. Well, Tatsuro Taira is just going to move out of the way, counter with a good body kick, counter with a jab or 1-2, and eventually CJ is going to get really, really frustrated, and he's just going to start bolting in to Tatsuro to land those big shots, and Tatsuro Taira is going to mix in the takedowns and control the fight on the grounds. So I think Tatsuro is better on the feet, better on the ground, going to use all that to win a unanimous decision. Piera Rodriguez and Sam Hughes in the strawweight division. Wrestler versus sort of wrestler, I would say, in Piera Rodriguez. She's got good takedowns, good wrestling, and good takedown defense as well. We saw in her Svetlana Gotish fight over there in the LFA that she definitely has that ground and pound and wrestling game that Sam Hughes has as well, as we saw in her Elise Reed fight. But I don't think this one's going to be a wrestling fight. Again, like I said in another fight that was on this card, going to be kind of like Colby Covington versus Kamaru Usman. Neither girl is going to be able to take down the other one. And if they are able to take down the other one, they're not going to control for really that long. There should be 3 rounds of striking, and Piera Rodriguez, I believe, hits a little bit harder and has a bit of a better kicking game. That's really all I need to know. For women's MMA, it comes down to those little things. If they're even the wrestling, and it's going to be 3 rounds of striking, who has a better kicking game and who hits harder. That's Piera Rodriguez. So I'm going to go for her to win by a decision. Raphael Assuncao and Victor Henry in the bantamweight division. Yeah, Raphael not doing too good. On a 4-fight losing streak, 40 years old in the bantamweight division. Not as tall, not as lengthy as Victor Henry. Similar experience level between the two, but UFC experience definitely goes for Raphael Assuncao. If I was Raphael, I'm looking to wrestle, I'm looking to grapple, or I'm looking to close that distance and land some big shots on the inside onto Victor Henry, because if he's not able to do so and not able to close that distance, Victor is going to pick him apart on the outside. He's got a good kicking game, good front kicks and leg kicks, and he's very fast. There's more volume than Raphael Assuncao. I think that's going to be the factor here. Raphael's not as fast as he was earlier on in his career, doesn't throw as much volume, and isn't going to be able to get into the inside of Victor Henry as usual. And he didn't get knocked out by Corey Sandhagen when they fought 3 years ago. Barely got knocked out in the last second, or even after the last second against Cody Garbrandt. And then he lost to Ricky Simone. I don't really think Victor Henry has that kind of power. Only one knockout win in his last 5 fights. He's still solid, though. I'm going to go Victor Henry to outstrike Raphael Assuncao on the feet, using the height, using the reach, staying on the outside, mixing in the kicks at range, and the speed and the volume to win a decision in that one. Nick Maximov and Jacob Malkoun in the middleweight division, wrestler versus wrestler, but one is a lot taller, one is a lot lengthier, and one is a lot better of a striker in Nick Maximov, undefeated until, well, he was not when he lost to Andre Petrosky as a 3-1, 4-1 favorite in that fight. But he beat Punahele Soriano and Cody Brundage. He's got good wrestling offense, decent wrestling defense as well. Only reason he lost to Andre is because he was a little bit, lackadaisical when he was going in for that takedown. So if this is a 3-round striking fight, which I kind of think it will be, wrestler versus wrestler, gonna be kind of like Kobe Covington versus Usman, where no one's able to either get a takedown or get the takedown and control their opponent on the ground. Should be a striking fight. Nick has better kicks, he's taller, he's lengthier, throws a little bit more volume, got a little bit more power. Jacob's striking really is not that good at all. I think he's going to get outstruck for 3 rounds and lose a unanimous decision. Mana Martinez and Brandon Davis. In the bantamweight division, Brandon Davis not doing too good inside of the UFC, but he has been fighting some good opponents, like Giga Chikadze that he got a split decision loss to, Enrique Barzola, Zabit, Magomed Sharipov right there, beating Steven Peterson and Randy Costa, and most recently getting knocked out pretty badly by Dana Bakaril. But in this fight, I see it going all the way. Height and reach is going to be pretty even. Striking skills do go Mana Martinez. He does throw with a little bit more speed and a little bit more power than Brandon Davis. Also throws a bit more volume than Brandon Davis does as well. If I'm Brandon, I'm trying to pressure here. I'm trying to use some movement to get on the inside of Mana Martinez and work to wrestle and grapple, but I don't think he's going to land the takedowns like Ronnie Lawrence was able to do in their fight. I see this one staying on the feet for 3 rounds. Aside from the Dana Banjaril fight, I haven't seen Brandon Davis really get close to getting knocked out by any of his opponents, including Giga Chikadze. So I think this one goes all the way. Mana Martinez lands more shots and counters on the outside and wins 2 out of 3 rounds to a unanimous decision. We got Misha Cirkunov, Alonzo Menifield in the light heavyweight division. Misha Cirkunov is going to be the better grappler, the better jiu-jitsu guy, going out there, Peruvian necktying Jimmy Crute in their fight. Then he got knocked out bad by Ryan Spann, lost a decision to Krzysztof Jotko, and then got armbarred by Wellington Turman. He is moving back up to the light heavyweight division. He's taller and lengthier than Alonzo, but Alonzo is younger, he's more explosive, has the power advantage, and he's kind of shown that he's got good takedown defense in his last few fights. I don't expect to finish here. Misha, in this fight right here, I think he's going to use his threat of a submission and things like that to kind of stay away from getting knocked out of Alonzo Menifield. I think if Alonzo is going to get a knockout here, it'll happen because he lands a takedown on Misha Cirkunov and just starts ground and pounding like he did with Askar Morzarov and like he did earlier on in his career with Paul Craig. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Alonzo Menifield, Misha Cirkunov goes to a decision, and Alonzo keeps the fight on the feet, defends the takedowns, and just lands the harder shots. Kind of does what he did against Ed Herman in their fight, making it a technical, striking fight, and wins all 3 rounds. Dusko Todorovic and Jordan Wright in the middleweight division. Jordan Wright not doing too good, man. Got a guillotine choke submission loss to Marc-Andre Barriault. He chose to go for a takedown on Marc-Andre Barriault for whatever reason. I don't know why. And he ended up getting submitted in that fight. Got knocked out by Bruno Silva in his last fight in like, I don't know, a minute or two of round number 1. Did get some good wins on Ike Villanueva due to doctor stoppage. Huge cut over the eye, and then got Jamie Pickett's back to the cage and knocked him out. But Jamie Pickett, not the highest level UFC middleweight, and Ike Villanueva is, well, no longer in the UFC. A lot of these guys that have good power in their hands are able to just go out there, get Jordan Wright's back to the cage, and just start throwing bombs, because Jordan Wright's chin really is not that good. He's going to get knocked out in this fight by Dusko Todorovic. Dusko knocked out Maki Patolo in their fight with ground and pound. He also got a ground and pound knockout win on Daquan Townsend. He's only losing fights to Gregory Rodriguez, Punahele Soriano, and Shady and Jokawani, who are able to defend the takedowns of Dusko Todorovic. So if Dusko is able to land the takedowns on Jordan Wright, this should be no problemo. He's going to pressure Jordan to the cage, land some knees, land some elbows, clinch up, land some good shots, get the takedown, and ground and pound the heck out of Jordan Wright. I think this one will be a little bit longer because usually Jordan is getting knocked out by guys on the feet, but I think Dusko takes him down and gets the ground and pound TKO. Brandon Royval and Askarov in the flyweight division. I'm going to go Askarov to win. He is actually a little bit younger than Brandon Royval here. Not as tall, not as lengthy as Royval, but he's the better striker. He's going to come forward, putting on that pressure towards Brandon, and he's going to land a heck of a lot more volume. Brandon is a little bit of a wild card in this flyweight division. He's going to be throwing all sorts of weird strikes, some weird head kicks, and doing some like Granby rolls. I mean, he's going to do a lot of crazy things in this fight, but Askarov's technique is a little bit better. He's got a little bit better boxing, a little bit crisper boxing. His chin is a bit better as well, and if the fight does hit the mat, I don't really see Brandon Royval posing much of a threat onto Askarov. If this is a 3-round grappling match, I think Askarov is able to not get submitted by Brandon and control the fight on top, maybe even get the back of Brandon Royval like Alexandre Pantoja was able to do, but it should be an interesting one. I think Askarov is going to go out there, keep the fight very even on the feet, land a little bit more volume, but mix in the takedowns, maybe mix in some submission attempts, and win it by a 29-28 decision. Jonathan Martinez and Cub Swanson in the bantamweight division. Jonathan is going to be throwing a lot more volume in this fight. He's 10 years younger than Cub Swanson. Power is going to be pretty even here between Cub and Jonathan Martinez. Cub coming off a good knockout win on Darren Elkins, but he's not doing that on Jonathan Martinez. Jonathan's got some good head movement, good front kicks to the body kicks, and things like that. And I do believe he's going to be the faster striker here than Cub Swanson. He's going to be landing a little bit more volume than Cub. If Cub has a chance to win this one, he's going to need to pressure the heck out of Jonathan Martinez, get to those clinch situations, break the clinch, and start throwing bombs. Hope to land on the chin of Jonathan Martinez, possibly knock him out, maybe even just rock him on the feet. Cub needs to make this a war. Cub needs to make this a battle if he wants to win. If not, I think Jonathan's too technical, too fast, and is going to stay on the outside and win the fights. Stay on the outside in the striking. I'm going to go Jonathan to win 2-1 by a unanimous decision. Alexa Grasso and Viviane Araujo in the flyweight division, the main event of the evening. 29 and 36 almost years old. Alexa is going to be a little bit taller. Viviane is going to be a little bit lengthier, but not going to matter too much to me. I think Viviane is going to go out there, probably win round number 1, landing some takedowns, getting some control time, using the clinch to her advantage. But round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, all of those type of rounds, maybe she might win round 2 as well. But a lot of those later rounds, when they're a little bit more sweaty, they've been fighting for a little bit, and it's going to be a lot harder for Viviane Araujo to land those takedowns onto Alexa Grasso. It is going to mainly be a striking battle, and once it is a striking battle, once Viviane Araujo is unable to land those takedowns on Alexa Grasso in those later rounds. That's where Alexa starting to really let go with her strikes, starting to land the leg kicks, land the body kicks, stay in the outside, 1-2, 1-2, boom, moving her head, getting the inside of Viviane Araujo, landing some combinations, some good jabs, some good 1-2s, and some good kicks as well. And I do think Viviane will have some success early on in this fight, but she'll gas a little bit towards the tail end of this one. And Alexa Grasso, being Mexican, having that very good cardio, having the very good boxing, is really just gonna punish Viviane Araujo in those later rounds. So I think 3-2, Viviane will win round number 1 and will win at least one of the other rounds. But the striking of Alexa, the cardio of Alexa, and just the overall volume of Alexa will get the win, and I got her by a unanimous decision. UFC Fight Night, Grasso Araujo, most confident picks to least confident picks, number 1 to number 11, in categories of super confidence, slightly confident, confidence, as well as slight leans. Super confidence are the highest, confidence a little bit lower, slightly confidence a little lower, and slight leans are going to be at the bottom. We're going to start from the bottom with Pete Rodriguez versus Mike Jackson. Where are we going to have Pete Rodriguez in terms of confidence here? We're going to put him at a very, very solid, let's go slightly confident. Let's go confident. Let's go confident. I do believe he's one of them that's just a little bit more than slightly confident, but a little bit less than confident right there. So he's going to be right around the range of, let's go right there, Mike Jackson versus Pete Rodriguez. Pete Rodriguez, we're going to keep him at a solid 71%. Then we got Tatsuro Taira. I am feeling very, very solid about Tatsuro Taira. Not going to be a super confident pick for this one, but he will be right here inside of the UFC's flyweight division, and I will put Tatsuro Taira as a confidence of, let's go 78.5%. He's almost a super confident pick. Anyone over 80% confidence is a super confident pick for me. I'll have Tatsuro at 78.5. Piera Rodriguez versus Sam Hughes. This one's definitely going to be just a regular old slight lean. It's not the most confident pick at all inside of the UFC's women's strawweight division. So I'm going to have Piera at a solid 55% confidence. After Piera Rodriguez, we got Victor Henry and Raphael Assuncao. This one is going to be a confident pick, but not a super confident pick. Not that much to where I'd have it go all the way up to super confident. A little bit less than Tatsuro Taira at a solid 70, let's go 74%. Nick Maximov and Jacob Malkoun. This one's going to be a slightly confident. I don't really feel too good about having this one in the confident picks categories. A little bit more than a slight lean. So this will be my first slightly confident pick. Nick Maximov at a solid 61% confidence. Then we're going to have Mana Martinez as a clear, very, very clear slight lean for this fight card. We're going to have Mana Martinez at a solid 52%. Not confident at all in Mana Martinez winning that fight. After that one, we got Alonzo Menifield and Misha Cirkunov. I'm going to have Alonzo Menifield as a slightly confident pick. He's a little bit more than Nick Maximov at a pretty decent 66%. Not a confident pick though, as Misha does have some very good wrestling and grappling. Dusko Todorovic is also going to be in that slightly confident picks category. Right in between Alonzo and Nick Maximov is going to be right around the 65% range. Just a little bit less than the guy we just put in Alonzo Menifield. Askar, Askarov, and Brandon Royval. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to have him a little bit higher than Alonzo Menifield, but by barely. Like literally not much at all in terms of Askar, Askarov. We're going to have him at a solid 68% confidence. Then we got two more ones, Jonathan Martinez and Cub Swanson. Jonathan Martinez, I'm going to be honest with you, not the most confident on him. He is going to be a little bit more than Nick Maximov at a solid 63% confidence. I think we might have messed that one up a little bit. There we go. That should be good. And last but not least, Alexa Grasso, Viviane Araujo. She is going to be right at Let's go our most slightly confident pick right there at a solid 69.5% for Alexa Grasso. That is the list of most confident to least confident. This week, we have absolutely zero super confident picks on this card. We got Tatsuro, Taira, Victor Henry, and Pete Rodriguez as our confident picks. And if you go over and you look at the best fight odds right here, if you were to parlay all of my confident picks right there in a three-person parlay, let's see what odds we would get for that three-person parlay. So we got Tatsuro, Taira, and Pete Rodriguez. You got plus 113 for a three-person parlay right there of my most confident picks. Slightly confident picks. You got Alexa Grasso number 1, Askarov number 2, Menifield number 3, Dusko number 4, Jonathan Martinez at number 5, and Nick Maximov at number 6, and then our slight leans of Martinez and Piera Rodriguez. Fights I'm really just not feeling too good about, if I'm being quite honest with you. And you know what? If you stay to the end of the video, you get a little change here. We're going to move Nick Maximov to the slight lean category. I mean, I'm just thinking about Jacob Malkoun training with Robert the Reaper Whitaker. His striking has to have improved quite a bit since his last fight inside the UFC. So that is it. Most confident to least confident at UFC Fight Night, Grasso versus Araujo. Go down and like this video. Go down and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on. Put your predictions in the comments as well. And go check out some more of my videos. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see you in the next one.